Lake Powell's shoreline has moved far enough to turn a once busy marina into a quiet remnant, and the opening of a new ramp near North Wash makes the scale of that change impossible to miss. How does a place built for boats, fuel, and busy summer traffic end up with its launch facilities sitting far from open water? Why does a new access point matter so much that state and federal officials gather to mark it with a ribbon-cutting ceremony? And what does it say about the future of recreation on the Colorado River when a new ramp is treated less like a convenience than a necessity? The answer is written across the landscape itself, in exposed sediment, stranded infrastructure, and a shoreline that no longer resembles the reservoir many people remember. For decades, the upper reaches of Lake Powell were defined by a sense of abundance. Water-filled canyons, lapped against marina walls, and supported a network of launch ramps, campsites, fuel stations, and visitor services that made long-distance boating and river travel possible. The lake's changing levels were always part of the conversation, but for a long time they did not erase the basic assumption behind the system, that if one access point became less practical, another would still be close enough to serve. Hite Marina once stood as a key piece of that network, a gateway for boaters and river runners who used it to refuel, launch, and finish trips through one of the most remote and dramatic sections of the Colorado River Basin. That role has now been largely taken over by a shoreline that has retreated, a river that has reasserted its path, and an entirely different access model built around adaptation rather than certainty. The scene around Old Hite tells that story before any speech is delivered or any ceremonial ribbon is cut. What was once a marina environment now appears as a landscape in transition, one where the traces of human use remain visible while the water that justified them has receded miles away. Facilities that were once placed for easy lake access now stand in a setting shaped more by dust, rock, and river flow than by a reservoir edge. The launch ramp does not point into a broad lake basin anymore. It reaches toward the Colorado River, which now occupies ground that was once submerged. In that shift lies the essential fact of Lake Powell's changing shoreline. Infrastructure built for one hydrologic reality is now being repurposed or left behind because the reservoir itself has reorganized the geography around it. At Hite, the exposed terrain does more than reveal a lower waterline. It reveals time. Sediment that accumulated beneath the reservoir for decades now is open to the sun, the wind, and the steady movement of the river. High water marks remain etched along the cliffs, rising to elevations near 3,700 feet above sea level, or about 1,130 meters. Those marks matter because they show just how much of the canyon wall was once hidden beneath water. They also make clear that the current shoreline is not simply a temporary dip in lake level. It is part of a larger and more persistent reshaping of the region, one that has changed the relationship between reservoir, river, and access points across a wide stretch of southern Utah. The Colorado River's return to its former channel at Hite is not a symbolic gesture. It is a physical process with practical consequences. As the lake level dropped, the river began to occupy terrain that had been underwater long enough for thick layers of sediment to settle in place. The flow now cuts through those deposits, moving downstream and carrying material that had once been trapped behind the reservoir. Upstream, the route toward Cataract Canyon remains a vital corridor for river travel. Downstream, the channel bends toward what is left of Lake Powell, linking two very different versions of the same water system. This is one of the defining features of the current moment at the upper reaches of the reservoir. The line between lake and river is no longer fixed in the way it once seemed. It shifts with each seasonal pattern, each long-term water shortage, and each operational decision tied to the dam and the river system that feeds it. Hite Marina, in that context, has become a kind of measure of change. Its former usefulness is easy to understand because the location once sat close to water, accommodated boat traffic, and served people moving through one of the most isolated parts of the region. Its present condition is harder to ignore. Campsites remain, signs remain, structures remain, but the active life that once animated the place has faded. Fuel services are no longer operating in the way they once did. Areas built for visitors now feel disconnected from the reservoir they were designed to serve. The result is not simply abandonment in the usual sense. It is a landscape where the intended purpose of the site no longer matches the geography surrounding it. That mismatch is visible in the spacing between concrete, rock, and river, and it is one of the most striking signs of what Lake Powell's shoreline has become. The change at Hite also reveals why river access at this end of the reservoir has become such an important issue. For river runners coming out of Cataract Canyon, Hite once represented a straightforward finish point. Once water levels dropped far enough that the old marina could no longer function as intended, the region needed another takeout that matched the realities of the river corridor. North Wash became that point, not because it was ideal in its original form, but because it remained usable when more traditional access failed. That sort of transition often happens quietly in remote infrastructure systems. A site that begins as a backup becomes the main option. A place once considered awkward or difficult becomes essential. And eventually, the entire region begins to depend on the quality of that backup. North Wash's rise in importance is not accidental. It reflects a broader pattern along Lake Powell's retreating upper shoreline, where agencies and recreation users have had to respond to the disappearance of old access points. As the lake pulled back, the physical distance between boaters and practical takeout locations increased. River trips that once ended at Hite had to find a new exit, and in the process, many users encountered a set of conditions that were difficult to manage. Hauling boats and gear up unstable slopes, dealing with uneven surfaces, and relying on improvised systems of winches, pulleys, and raw labor became part of the routine in an area that was never designed to function that way. The need for a purpose-built ramp grew more urgent as the old workarounds became more burdensome, less efficient, and, at times, less safe. The new North Wash boat ramp is therefore more than an addition to the landscape. It is a direct response to a functional problem created by changing reservoir conditions. The facility extends to the river's edge and provides a structured, more reliable takeout for river runners exiting Cataract Canyon. Its construction incorporates sandstone and reinforced access surfaces in a way that fits the surrounding terrain while also meeting the practical demands of regular use. That balance matters because the site must serve different types of users, from commercial outfitters managing large river trips to private boaters ending long journeys through a remote canyon corridor. A ramp that is too steep, too narrow, or too fragile would solve little. A ramp that is durable, accessible, and aligned with actual river conditions has the potential to alter the entire flow of recreation in the region. The opening of the ramp also carries an administrative meaning that is easy to overlook but important to understand. It represents coordination among multiple agencies that had to work through permitting, environmental review, funding, archaeological concerns, and engineering challenges before construction could be completed. Projects like this rarely move in a straight line. They often spend years in planning, years in debate, and years more in paperwork before any concrete is poured or any ribbon is cut. In this case, the involvement of Utah State Parks, the National Park Service, the Utah Department of Natural Resources, and other state partners reflects the reality that water access in the Colorado River system is not governed by a single authority. It depends on overlapping responsibilities, shifting priorities, and a shared recognition that recreational infrastructure must match actual conditions rather than historical assumptions. That is why the new ramp was celebrated not as a replacement for the old Hite Marina, but as an adaptation to a changed environment. The language surrounding the project matters. It is not a restoration. It is not an attempt to recreate a shoreline that no longer exists in the same form. It is a response to a new set of facts. Lake Powell's shoreline has shifted, and the infrastructure around it has had to shift with it. The new ramp stands as a practical acknowledgement that some places can no longer function the way they once did, and that access to the river now requires different tools than it did in the past. The implications extend beyond the site itself. North Wash is not just a landing point. It is a signal about the future of recreation on this stretch of the Colorado River. When access becomes easier, more predictable, and less physically punishing, more users are likely to consider the route. That matters to outfitters whose business depends on reliable logistics. It matters to private visitors who may have been deterred by the difficulties of the old takeout. It matters to local communities connected to guiding, lodging, transport, and supply services. And it matters to public agencies that manage visitor access while trying to protect the natural and cultural resources that make the canyon country valuable in the first place. There is also a larger environmental and operational lesson embedded in the project. Reservoirs are often imagined as stable bodies of water with clearly marked edges, but Lake Powell has shown how quickly that assumption can break down when hydrologic conditions change over time. The shoreline is not a fixed border. It is a moving interface between water storage, river flow, sediment accumulation, recreation, and infrastructure. As that interface shifts, every facility built near the edge becomes vulnerable to obsolescence. A ramp may be usable one decade and stranded the next. A marina that once seemed central may become a relic. A route that once carried thousands of visitors may become difficult to maintain without major investment. North Wash is one of the clearest examples of how agencies are trying to respond to that instability with practical design rather than nostalgia. The physical contrast between old Hite and the new ramp gives the change a precise form. At Hite, the landscape tells the story of retreat, exposed slopes, isolated structures, and an inactive marina area that no longer meets the lake where the lake used to be. At North Wash, the design tells the story of adjustment, a ramp aligned with the river, access built for present conditions, and a facility intended to make the corridor usable again. One location shows what has been lost in the lower waterline. The other shows what can still be preserved through careful planning. Together, they map the transition from a reservoir-centered access model to one that is increasingly river-centered. That transition has not occurred overnight. It has unfolded over years of declining reservoir levels, changing use patterns, and continuous adaptation by boaters, park staff, contractors, and local stakeholders. The shoreline did not shift once and stop. It has moved in stages, each one forcing a reassessment of where access should be located and how it should function. In many ways, the new ramp is the result of a long chain of practical decisions made under pressure. Every year of lower water made Hite a little less usable. Every difficult takeout at North Wash made the need for improvement a little more obvious. Every delay in funding or permitting lengthened the period during which users had to rely on makeshift solutions. The finished ramp now stands as the outcome of that accumulated pressure. The project's completion also highlights how public land management has become increasingly tied to climate variability and water scarcity. Lake Powell sits at the center of a system that depends on snowpack, runoff, storage, power generation, and interstate coordination. When those variables change, the effects are not limited to charts and policy discussions. They appear on the ground. They appear in the distance between water and concrete. They appear in the abandonment of a marina, the repositioning of a boat ramp, and the need to build new infrastructure where old assumptions no longer hold. The new North Wash ramp is one visible answer to that reality. It does not solve the underlying water challenge, but it does show how land managers are trying to keep recreation viable despite it. For visitors who remember Hite in its active years, the current view may feel stark. For those who never saw it when lake levels were higher, the abandoned facilities may seem almost like a historical site from the start. Both impressions are valid. The place now functions as a record of changing conditions rather than as a living marina. That is part of what makes the area so compelling. It is not merely a place where water went away. It is a place where the changing waterline left behind evidence of former patterns of use, former assumptions about access, and former relationships between people and the reservoir. The visible remains are useful because they show the consequences of long-term decline in a way that charts and statistics often cannot. North Wash, by contrast, offers a glimpse of an operational future built on the premise that the lake will not return to its old extent anytime soon. Its value lies in being suited to the river as it exists now, not as it existed decades ago. That distinction is important. Infrastructure tied too closely to a past condition becomes fragile. Infrastructure that recognizes present conditions can remain useful even when the broader environment is unstable. The new ramp embodies that principle. It is simpler, more direct, and more realistic about the state of access at this edge of the reservoir. There is still an emotional dimension to the change, even in a news account that stays focused on facts and function. People who have spent years on Lake Powell know that access points are not just concrete and gravel. They are the beginning and end of journeys. They are the place where trips begin at dawn and where tired crews return after long miles on the water. When one of those places loses its purpose, something more than convenience is affected. The network of memory around the reservoir shifts too. Old routines vanish, new ones form. The landscape that remains carries both the practical burden of access and the historical weight of what came before. That is why the opening at North Wash matters beyond the ceremony itself. It marks a point in the longer adjustment to a reduced reservoir and a more exposed shoreline. It acknowledges that Hite's old role has ended, at least in the form that many people once knew. It also shows that recreation on this stretch of the Colorado River is not disappearing, only changing shape. Boat ramps, takeouts, parking areas, and river access points are being reconsidered because the water they serve has moved. The shoreline's shift has made that unavoidable, and the new ramp shows just how far the system has had to move in response. The broader lesson is clear enough from the landscape alone. Lake Powell is not simply lower than it used to be. Its changing shoreline has altered the geography of access, the meaning of old marina sites, and the design requirements for future recreation infrastructure. Hite Marina stands as a reminder of how quickly a once central facility can become disconnected from the water it was built to serve. North Wash stands as a reminder that public agencies and recreation users are still finding ways to adapt. Between the two, the story of the upper reservoir becomes visible in a way that is both specific and expansive. Specific in the details of ramps, sediment, and high water marks, expansive in what those details say about a whole region learning to function under different conditions. The Colorado River continues to move through the corridor, carving, carrying, and rearranging the terrain it passes. The reservoir above and below that corridor continues to fluctuate. The shoreline continues to adjust. And along that changing edge, the new ramp at North Wash now serves as a practical marker of what the region has become. It is a sign that access still matters, that infrastructure must follow the water rather than expect the water to follow it, and that the future of this place will be shaped less by the memory of old shorelines than by the willingness to build for the ones that remain.